Come on up here, I'll show you this. So we've got a ton of room back here, which is really, really great. So all of this right here is capable space of storing all kinds of stuff. So we've got all these couple of holes down here that you can put stuff in. You've also got, come over here, you've got a couple of holes that are right here that you can also do. The other thing that's really, really cool is you've also got the trunk space that's down here that you can store ice chest or put a suitcase or duffel bag or whatever you want to in there and store that. And this is a lot of space down here. I've got a couple of my instrument trays. Oh, juice. There we go.
This is awesome.
While we're here, Fantic vacuum. There's another video right up here for the Fantic vacuum. Absolutely spectacular. Fantic, very good. If you have a chance, pick this up on Amazon. There's a couple of discount codes on Amazon that you can probably get this for a pretty decent deal. Great suction on these things. Great for just quick car cleanup. If you have kids, if you have Cheerios in the back, Cheez-Its, whatever you got back there, or if you just track stuff in from the outside. Fantic vacuum, really, really good. All right, let's keep going. So that's the trunk area back there, which is really cool. And tons of room back here. Now here's the other part of this where it makes sense to have something like this. So if you take a look at these two, those will
fold down completely, okay? So if I come up here and I move this chair up just a tiny bit, you've got a full amount of room
back here to store whatever you want to store in here. Okay, full body storage. Now I'm 6'1", 180 something pounds and quick. So look at this. So snow angels in here, right? Tons of room back here. You can throw lumber in here. You can throw umbrellas in here. You can do whatever pretty much that you want to into this space back here. Really, really awesome. Tons of space. Okay. The Tesla Model Y 2020, the other versions of the Model Y, tons of room as well. I think all of them are pretty much the same when it comes to the interiors of the vehicle as far as room goes. Check out something else. So come around here. Another part of the storage space that I don't think a lot of people utilize in these things is the frunk. So the frunk also has a good bit of space up here. So a spot where you can put an ice chest, you can put some ice in here. Now this one doesn't have a drain plug like the 2026 version. I believe the 25, maybe the 25, but I know the 26, the Juniper model, has the drain plug down here in the bottom, so you can throw ice in here for tailgate or whatever you want to do. But you can also put an ice chest down in here. You can store duffel bags or whatever you want. And this is a pretty decent amount of storage that you've got in the front area right here. Was $52,000. It's about the same as the Model Y. I think you can pick up the used Model Ys for probably $30,000 to $40,000, something like that at the moment. And those are that's really pretty stellar for the type of performance and things like that you get in the Model Y. But these vehicles back in 2023 when we bought it new was $52,000. So quite expensive, but it basically has a good chunk of room that's in there. Now I have some of my medical supplies back here, so you can kind of see how big this is. This is a very, very large suitcase that I carry a lot of my stuff in, and a backpack. So a good chunk of items that can go back here. But if you'll take a look at the space back here, if you can kind of see it very well, you can actually get in here and you've got a lot of space in here. Not a whole lot more than the Model Y, but somewhat. So these fold down completely flat. So I'll show you that. And you can actually get a good bit of space in these things as these go up. Now they don't fold down completely flat. They're a little bit, elevated or angled. And, but you can also get in here and just like the other one. So let me show you just like I did on the other one.
These things lay down like this, and
you can kind of see, again, I'm 6'1", 180-ish pounds, 185-ish pounds. And you can kind of see the difference with the space. Not a whole lot. My feet still hang out the back of this thing, and my head's all the way up to the seats. So there's not a ton more room in these things. And you would think it would be, because these are big old giant honking SUVs, and you would think this would have a lot more room. But the thing about it is, for me, there's just as much room in that Model Y from a storage capacity standpoint than there is in this Grand Cherokee Limited. One aspect that the Jeep obviously doesn't have is a frunk space area that you can store things in. And the main reason for it is because, come over here, let's take a look, is because of this gigantor honking engine that's in this thing. Okay, so we've got a ton of, well, we got a ton of leaves at the moment. So part of living in hot climates is some things kind of die now and then, and we got some dead leaves in there. But this entire area covered up with the engine. Nice engine, goes kind of fast, but not very efficient. And you spend about 70 to 80 bucks in gas every time you do this. But again, no storage up here. So, oh, gotta close the garage. Never have to do that. So I don't have the garage door opener set up any longer in this thing, because I had to get a new one for the Tesla. So sometimes I've got to go do that weird little exercise. Okay, so the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. So, okay, what in the world? So I've got some trash that I'm taking to the, Jesus. I'm going to get my shit together here in just a second. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so I have some things that I'm taking to the dump back in the back here. So if you hear some rattling, I apologize. But you know, part of the deal when you got to take stuff to the trash. The towing capacity of this is excellent. We pull a trailer at least probably a couple times a year. That is fairly weighted down, and this thing does it without breaking a sweat. So that's really good. We also will take this thing on gravel roads and uneven pavement and things like that on some of the trips that we take, and it handles it without breaking a sweat. It's very, very good. The few things that I don't like about it, the infotainment center. I mean, now that I have the Tesla, this thing, the infotainment center is just absolute rudimentary. It's very, very basic. It does have Apple CarPlay, which is really good when it works and when you can get connected to it. So that's good. People that walk in the neighborhood, that walk in the middle of the street, what are you doing? Anyway, I love it that they're getting exercise. That's awesome. Get fit, but please don't walk in the middle of the street. 2023, we bought this thing brand new. Little things go wrong with these cars, and that's something that drives me absolutely insane, and you may be the same way. Little things that go wrong, door handles, windshield wipers, knobs that come off, all of that kind of stuff on certain cars. I've had a number of cars that have done that, and it's just mind-numbingly frustrating, because that's something that you don't really want to take it into the shop, and if it's out of warranty, you can't really do it because you're looking at a deductible if you do it on your insurance, or if you take it into the shop, you know, you're looking at $400 or $500 to get it in there, plus the hassle of taking it over there. Just a pain in the butt. So I don't really like to do that. The last thing that I'll say, the tires on these things are big Mama Bear tires, and on these bigger SUVs like this, when you go to buy tires for these things, they're very, very expensive. Now, the tires on the Tesla are going to hit me hard. I've started saving some money and putting it back for the time where I've got to buy new tires for that as well. But these tires on this thing, about $1,200 or so if you want to get the good Michelin style tires that I really prefer on these bigger vehicles like this. But you know, overall, for a family car SUV, this thing has been great for us. We've had it, like I said, since 2023, and it's been very good for us. The range that we get on this, when I put a full tank of gas in here, it cost me about, right now in July of 2025, cost me around 70 bucks or so. I'll get around probably 365, 375 miles. Maybe I can get a little bit more if I'm not pulling a trailer or something like that, but that's pretty good mileage on this car. I'll check the mileage right quick on this. Yeah, I'm getting right at about 20 miles per gallon on this, and this has been measuring this for quite some time. So I get about 20 miles per gallon on this, and that's driving this thing in between both the city and the highway, as my wife takes us to work and she drives on the highway